Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance of Guru Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhu, if you
Prabhu.
want, chant the prayers.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanativirandasya Jnananjalashalakaya Chakshur Unlimitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svavadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Rutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare. Before reciting, sorry, Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Shranvatam Swakatah Krishna Punyashravanakirtana Radyantosto hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Satam. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवते सेवया भगवते उत्तमाश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, basically, before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves victorious when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai ho.
Jai.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, Hare Krishna Jai Govind Prabhu, please accept my obeisance of Guru Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Govinda, Sundar Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhu.
I बोल जब खबूज धन्यवाद प्रणाम जय श्री प्रभुपाद.
How are you, Prabhu? So many days I didn't talk to you.
Whenever I hear your voice, Vivek Prabhu, I'm fine, Prabhu.
Hari Bol, Prabhu. Hari Bol. Okay. Yeah, text 7. Tavan ayam vyavahara sadvai Krishtarjana sakshyo bhavati stula sukma tasman mano lingam ado vadanti गुणागुणत्वस्य paravarasya Prasinam Stavan. Until that time, I am this Vyavahara, the artificial designations, being fat or skinny or belonging to the demigods or human beings. Sada, always, Aiva, manifesting Kshetrajna of the living entity, Saksha, testimony, Bhavanti, his Stula Sukshma, fat and skinny. Tasmat, therefore, Mana, the mind, Lingam, the cause, Andha, these Vadanti, they say, Guna Agunastvasya, of being observed in material qualities or devoid of material qualities, Para Avarasya, and of lower and higher condition of life. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The mind makes the living entity within this material world wander through different species of life, and thus the living entity experience mundane affairs in different forms as a human being, a demigod, fat person, skinny person, and so forth. Learned scholars say that bodily appearance, bondage, and liberation are caused by the mind. Purport. Just as the mind is the cause of bondage, it can also be the cause of liberation. The mind is described here as para avara. Para means transcendental and avara means material. When the mind is engaged in the Lord's service, sa vai mana Krishna padara padaravinda padaravinda padaravinda. It is called para transcendental. When the mind is engaged in material sense gratification, it is called our or material. At the present moment, in our conditioned state, our mind is fulfilled in material sense gratification, but it can be purified and brought to its original Krishna consciousness by the process of devotional service. We have often given the example of Ambarisha Maharaj, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindo Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunavaranani. The mind must be controlled in Krishna consciousness. The tongue can be utilized to spread the message of Krishna and glorify the Lord or take prasada, the remnants of food offered to Krishna. Sevan Mukehi Jivadu. When one utilizes the tongue in the service of the Lord, the other service can purified. Other senses can become purified. As stated in the Narada Panchadatra, Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Parattvena Nirmala. When the mind and senses are purified, one's total existence is purified, and one's designation are also purified. One no longer considers himself a human being, a demigod, cat, dog, Hindu, Muslim, and so forth. When the senses and mind are purified and one is fully engaged in Krishna's service, one can be liberated and return home, back to Godhead. Text 8. गुणानुकर्तं व्यसनाय जन्तौ क्षेमया निर्गुणयम् अतो मनास्ते यथा प्रदीपो घृतवर्तिम् असन् शिखः सधुमा भजति हे अन्यदः स्वम् पदं तथा गुण कर्मनुबन्धम् वृत्तं मनाश्रयते यत्र तत्त्वम्. Synonyms. Guna anuraktam, being attached to the material modes of nature. Vyasanam, Vasanaya, for the conditioning in material existence. Jantu, of the living entity. Kshemaya, for the ultimate welfare. Nirgunayam, being unaffected by the material modes of nature. Atho, those. Mana, the mind. Syat, becomes. Yatha, as much as. Pradipa, a lamp. Grita vrittim, a wick. A wick within clarified butter has the nun burning sikha, the flame sadhuma with smoke. Bhajati enjoys he certainly anyata otherwise swam its own original padam position. Tatha so guna karma anubandham born by the modes of nature and the reactions of material activities. Vritti various engagements. Manha, the mind. Shrayate takes shelter of. Anyatra, otherwise Tattvam, its original condition. Translation. When the living entity's mind becomes absorbed in the sense gratification of the material world, it brings about his conditioned life and suffering within the material situation. However, when the mind becomes unattached to material enjoyment, it becomes the cause of liberation. When the flame in a lamp burns the wick improperly, the lamp is blackened. But when the lamp is filled with ghee and is burning properly, there is bright illumination. Similarly, when the mind is absorbed in material sense gratification, it causes suffering, and when detached from material sense gratification, it brings about the original brightness of Krishna consciousness. Wait, like the flame in a lamp burns wick, the wick improperly. It becomes a revelation. Okay. But it is therefore concluded that the mind is the cause of material existence and liberation also. Everyone is suffering in this material world because of the mind. It is therefore proper to train the mind or to cleanse the mind from material attachment and engage it fully in the Lord's service. This is called spiritual engagement, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Mamcha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samite yatten brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall in any circumference at once, transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Bhagavad Gita 14.26. We should engage the mind fully in Krishna conscious activities, then it will be the cause of our liberation, for our returning home back to Godhead. However, if we keep the mind engaged in material activities for sense gratification, it will cause continuous bondage and will make us remain in this material world in different bodies, suffering the consciousness of our different actions. Text 9. Ekadasasan manaso hi vritya kutya pancha dihoyo bhimana matrani karmani puram cha tassam vadanti haikadasa vira bhumi. Ekadasa, 11. Asan, there are manasa, of the mind. He, certainly, vritya, activities. Akutya, sense of action. Pancha, 5. Diha, senses for gathering knowledge. Abhimanaha, the false ego. Matrani, different sense objects. Karmani, different material activities. Puram, child, and the body, society, nation, family, or place of nativity. Tasyam, of those functions. Vadanti, they say. Aha, ho, ekadasa, 11. Veera, O hero. Bhumi, fields of activity. Fields of Translation. There are 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses. There is also the false ego. In this way, there are 11 items for the mind's function. 11 items. 5 sense working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Oh hero, the objects of the senses such as sound and touch. The organic activities such as vacation and the different types of bodies, society, friendship, and personality are considered by learned scholars the fields of activity for the functions of the mind. Okay, purport. The mind is the controller of the five knowledge acquiring senses and the five working senses. Each sense has its particular field of activity. In all cases, the mind is the controller or owner. By the false ego, one thinks oneself, the body, and thinks in terms of my body, my house, my family, my society, my nation, and so on. These false identifications are due to the expansions of the false ego. Those one thinks that he is this or that, those the living entity becomes entangled in material existence. Text 10. Gandhakriti saprasa rasa sarvamshi visarga visarga rate arte abhijalapa silpa ekadasham swikaranam mam miti syam aham dvadasham eke ahu. Synonyms: then gandha, smell, gandha, smell, akriti, form, sap, sprasa, sprasa, touch, rasa, taste, sravamsi, and sound, visarga, evacuating, rati, sexual intercourse, rati, movement, rati, movement. Bijalappa, speaking, Shilpa, grasping or releasing, Ekadasham, 11th, Svikaranam, accepting as Mama, Prabhu, scroll. Okay, Mama, mine, iti dos swayam, this body, I, Dvadasham, 12th, some who have said translation, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell are the objects of five acquiring knowledge. Knowledge acquiring senses are sound, touch, form, touch, sound. Okay, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Okay, sound, smell, taste, touch, form. Okay. Next, speech, touch, moment, evacuation, and sexual intercourse are the objects of the working senses. Besides this, there is another conception by which one thinks this is my body, this is my society, this is my family, this is my nation, and so forth. This 11th function that of the mind is called the false ego. According to some philosophers, this is the 12th function, and its field of activity is the body. Purport: there are different objects for the 11 items. Through the nose we can smell. By the Through the nose we can smell. By eyes we can see. By ears we can hear. And in his way we gather knowledge. Similarly, there are karmendriyas, the working senses, the hands, legs, genitals, rectum, mouth, and so forth. When the false ego expands, it makes one think, this is my body, family, society, country, etc. Text 11. Text 11. Yeah. Okay. Dravya Swabhavasya कर्म कलेयर एकादशमी मनसो विकारः सहस्रशः शतस्य कोटिश्च क्षेत्रज्ञतो न मिथो न स्वतः श्रियो Dhruvya by physical objects. Svabhava by by nature has the cause of development. Asya by culture. Karma by predestined resultant actions. Kalai by time. Ekadasha 11 Ami all these manasa of the mind. Vikara transformations. Sahasrahasa in thousands. Satasha in hundreds. Kotisha cha and in millions. Kshetra janta from the original supreme personality of Godhead. Na not mitha one another. Na nor swatha from themselves. Shriya are translation. Hare Krishna Prabhu's Prabhupada. Yeah, translation. The physical elements, nature, the original cause, culture, destiny, and the time element are material causes. Physical elements, nature, the original cause, culture, destiny, and the time elements are the material causes. Agitated by these material causes, the 11 functions transform into hundreds of functions and then into thousands and then into millions. But all these transformations do not take place automatically by mutual combination, rather they are under the Prabhu, can I scroll Prabhu? Yeah. They are under the direction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are under the direction of the Supreme Personality. Purport. One should not think that all the interactions of the physical elements, gross and subtle, the, that cause the transformation of mind and consciousness are working independently. They are under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Krishna says that the Lord is situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mat smritir jnanam hapoham cha. As mentioned herein, one should not think that all the interactions of physical elements grows. Okay, this is all done. Now here, as mentioned in here in Super Soul, Kshetrajna, he is directly everything. The living entity is also Kshetrajna, but the supreme Kshetrajna is the supreme person of Godhead. He is witness and order giver. Under his direction, everything thing takes place. Different inclinations of the living entity are created by his own nature or his expectations and
हे कळलं कसे
मैं आता नहीं खत्म मैं नहीं खत्म मैं
आणि काऊन खातो सो
under his direction everything takes place. The different inclinations of the living entity are created by his own nature. Okay. And he is trained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the agency of material nature. The body created by his own nature and his expectations. And he is trained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the agency of material nature. The body, nature, and the physical elements are under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Body, nature, physical elements are under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They do not function automatically. Nature is neither independent nor automatic, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Supreme Person of Godhead is behind nature. Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate. Something is there. Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Cha Characharam. Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viprivartate. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Bhagavad Gita 9.10, text 12. Let's go to Kshetrajna Yetamano Manaso Vibhutrir Jivasya Maya Ratishtasya Nitya Avirhitha Kavapi Drihohitascha Sudho Vichaste Avishuddha Kartu. Kshetrajna, the individual soul. Yeta, all those. Manasa, of the mind. Vibhuti, different activities. Jivasya, of the living entity. Maya, Rachitasya, created by the external material energy. Nitya, from time immemorial. Avirhita, sometimes manifested. Kavapi, somewhere. Trivohita cha, and not manifested. Suddha, purified. Vishkaste, Vikaste, sees this. Just here he certainly Vishuddha, unpurified, Kartu, of the doer. Translation. The individual soul, bereft of Krishna consciousness, has many ideas and activities created in the mind by the external energy. They have given existing from time immemorial. Sometimes they are manifest in the awakening state and in the dream state, but during deep sleep, unconsciousness, or trance, they disappear. Yes, a person who is liberated in this life, Jivan Mukta, can see all these things vividly. Purport, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Kshetrajna chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetrasu. Bharata. There are two kinds of Kshetrajna, or living beings. One is individual living being and another is the supreme living being. The ordinary living being knows about his body to some extent, but the supreme Paramatma knows the condition of all bodies. The individual living being is localized, and the supreme Paramatma is all pervading in this sloka. The Kshetrajna refers to an ordinary living being, not the supreme living being. This ordinary living being is of two kinds, Nityavattam or Nityamukta. One is eternally conditioned and the other internally liberated. The eternally liberated living beings are in the Vaikuntha Jagat, the supreme, the spiritual world, and they never fall into the material world. Okay. They never fall into the material world. Those in the material world are conditioned souls. Nityabaddha. The Nityabaddhas can become liberated by controlling the mind because the cause of conditioned life is the mind. Wait. Nityabaddha has become liberated by controlling the mind because the cause of conditioned life is mind. When the mind is trained and the soul is not under the mind's control, the soul can be liberated even in this material world. When the mind is trained and the soul is not under the mind's control, the soul can be liberated even in this material world. When it is liberated, one is called Jivan Mukta. A Jivan Mukta knows how he has become conditioned. Therefore, he tries to purify himself and return home back to Godhead. The eternally conditioned soul is eternally conditioned because he is controlled by the mind. The conditioned state and liberated state are compared to the sleeping. The conditioned state and liberated state are compared to the sleeping. Unconscious state. अभी यार the conditioned state and liberated state are this compared to the sleeping unconscious state and the awakening state. Those uh, who are awake under who are awake understand that they are eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Therefore, even in this material world, they engage in Krishna's service. As confirmed by Larupa Goswami, Ihasya, Yasya, Hare Dasya. If one takes to Krishna's service, he is liberated, even though he appears to be conditioned soul within the material world. Jivan Mukta, Sa Muchyate. In any condition, one is to be considered liberated if his only business is to serve Krishna. Text 13 to 14. क्षेत्रज्ञ आत्मा पुरुष पुराण सक्षत सक्षत स्वयं ज्योतिर अजा परेशा नारायणो भगवान वासुदेवा स्वमयात्मनय आत्मने में अवधीयमानः. Synonyms: यथा नील सत्वरा जगमानम् आत्मा स्वरूपेण निविष्ट एवं परो भगवान वासुदेव क्षेत्रज्ञ आत्मेदम् अनुप्रविष्ट. Synonyms: Kshetrajna, the supreme person of Godhead, Atma, all pervading, present everywhere. Purusha, the unrestricted controller, who has unlimited power. Purana, the original, Sakshat, perceivable by hearing from the authorities and by direct perception. Swayam, personal, Jyoti, manifesting his bodily rays. The Brahman, refulgence. Aja, never born. Paresha, the supreme person of Godhead. Narayana, the resting place of all living entities. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, the full of sorry, the personality of Godhead with six full opulences. Vasudeva, the shelter of everything, manifested and non-manifest. Swamayaya, by his own potency, Atmani, in his own self, or in the ordinary living entities. Avadhiyamana, existing as the controller, Yata, as much as Anila, the air, Satvara, of non-moving living entities, Janigamana, and of the moving living entities. Atma Swarupena, by his expansion as a super soul, Nivishtha, entered Ishte, controls. Evam those Paraha, transcendental, Bhagavan, the supreme person of Godhead, Vasudeva, the shelter of everything, Kshetrajna, known as Kshetrajna, Atma, the vital force, Idam, this material world, Anu Pravishtha, entered within. Translation: there are two kinds of Kshetrajna. The living entity has explained as above, and the Supreme Person of Godhead, who is explained as follows. He is the all-pervading cause of creation. He is full in himself and is not dependent on others. He is perceived by hearing and direct perception. He is self-effulgent and does not experience birth, death, old age, or disease. He is controller of all the demigods, beginning with Lord Brahma. He is called Narayana and he is shelter. He is the shelter of living entities after the annihilation of this material world. He is full of opulence and he is the resting in the text word Kshetrana describes a living being, but in this verse, Kshetrana indicates the supreme person. Okay. Place of everything material. He is therefore known as Vasudeva, the supreme person of Godhead. By his own potency, he is present within the heart of all the living entities, just as the air or vital force is within the bodies of all beings. Moving and non-moving, in this way, he controls the body. In his partial feature, the Supreme Personality of Godhead enters all bodies and controls them. Repose. Purport. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Sarvasya chaha hridaya saniveshto mat smritir jnanam apoham cha. Every living being is controlled by the Supreme Living Being, Paramatma, who resides within everyone's heart. He is Purusha, the Purusha Avatara, who creates this material world. The first Purusha Avatara is Mahavishnu, and the Mahavishnu is the plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna's first expansion is Baladeva, and his next expansions are Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna. Vasudeva is the original cause of the Brahmajyoti, and Brahmajyoti is the expansion of the rays of the body of Vasudeva. यस्य प्रभा प्रभवतो जगदण्डकोटि कोटिष्व अशेष वसु वसुधादि विभूति भिन्नाम् तद्ब्रह्म निष्कालम् अनन्तम् अशेषभूतं Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulence in millions and millions of universes. Brahma Samhita 5.4. Sorry, 5.40. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is those described in Bhagavad Gita. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyaktam murtiyena matstani sarvabhutani nachaham tesho avashtitha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Bhagavad Gita 9.4. This is the position of the plenary expansions of Krishna as the all pervading Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. And now, sorry, next. Text 14, I think so. 14 or 15. Okay. Na yavad, text 15, okay. Na yavad etam tanu bhrim narendra विधूय मायं वयुनोदयेन विमुक्तसङ्गो विजितसत्सप्तनो विदात्मा तत्त्वं ब्रह्मतिह तवत् no, not Yavat, as long as Etam, these Tanu Brisht, one who has accepted a material body, Narendra, walking Vidhuya Mayam, washing away the infection accumulated because of contamination by the material world. Vayuna Udayena, by awakening of transcendental knowledge due to good association and study of the Vedic literatures. Vimukta Sangha, free from all material association. Jita Saptana, conquering the six enemies, the five knowledge, acquiring enemies, and the mind. Veda knows Atma Tattvam, spiritual truth, Brahmanti. He wanders here in this material world, Tavat, until that time. Translation: My dear King Rahugana, as long as the conditioned soul accepts the material body and is not freed from the contamination of material enjoyment, and as long as he does not conquer his six enemies and come to the platform of self-realization by awakening his spiritual knowledge, he has to wander among different places and different species of life in this material world. Does not conquer the six enemies. Okay. Purport. When when one's mind is absorbed in material conception, he thinks that he belongs to a particular nation, family, country, or street. These are all called upadhis designations, and one has to become free from them. Swarup, Swaropadi Vinirmuktam. So, Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam. As long as one is not freed, he has to continue conditioned life in material existence. The human form of life is meant for cleansing away these misconceptions. If this is not done, one has to repeat the cycle of birth and death and thus suffer all material conditions. Text 16. Na yavad etan mana atma lingam samsara tapavapanam janasya यच्च- यच्चोका मोहम मोहमाया रागलोभ वैरानुबन्धं ममतात्मा मम ममात्मा विदधति synonym na not yet yavat as long as yet that mana mind atma lingam existing has the false designation of the soul, a samsara tapa of the miseries of this material world, avapanam, ava, avapanam, the growing ground, janasya, the living being, yat, which stoka of lamentation, moha of illusion, amaya, maya of disease, raga of attachment, lobha of greed, vaira of enmity, anubandham, the consequence, mamatma, mam atma, the sense of ownership. Vidhati gives translation, the soul's designation, the mind is the cause of all tribulations in the material world. As long as this fact is known to the conditioned living entity, he has to accept this material condition of the material body and the wander within this universe in different positions because the mind is affected by diseases. Disease, lamentation, illusion, attachment, and greed and enmity. It creates bondage and a false sense of intimacy within this material world. Purport: The mind is the cause of both material bondage and liberation. The impure mind thinks, I am this body. The pure mind knows that she is not the material body. Therefore, the mind is considered to be the root of all material designations. Until the living entity is a fool from the association and contamination of this material world, the mind will be observing such material things as birth, death, old. But death, illusion, attachment, greed, and enmity. In this way, the living entity is conditioned and it suffers material miseries. Text 17. Pratvayam yenam tad adhabraviryam upekshaya dekshe upekshaya adeditam aparatma sorry aparat aparam Paramatha. Gurur Haris Charano Vasanastro. Jai Vaikdikam Swayam Atma Mosham. Synonyms: Pratvayam, the unforgettable enemy; Enam, this mind; Tat, that; Adabra, Viryam, very, very powerful; Apekshaya, by neglecting; Adedhiktam, unnecessary, increased in power; Apramatha, one who is without illusion; Guru, of the spiritual master; Harir, of the spiritual Supreme Personality of Godhead; Charana, of the lotus feet; Upasana, Astra, applying the weapon of worshipping; Jahi, conquered; Vyalikam, false; Swayam, personally; Atma Mosham, which covers the constitutional position of the living entity. Translation: this uncontrolled mind is the greatest enemy of the living entity. If one neglects it or gives it a chance, it will grow more and more powerful and will become victorious. Although it is not factual, it is very strong. It covers the constitutional position of the soul. O king, please try to conquer this mind by the weapon of service to the lotus feet of the spiritual master and the Supreme Person of Godhead. Do this with great care. Purport. There is one easy weapon with which the mind can be conquered: neglect. There is one easy weapon which the mind can be conquered: neglected. The mind is always telling us to do this or that. Therefore, we should be very expert in disobeying the mind's orders. Gradually, mind should be trained to obey the orders of the soul. It is not that one should obey the orders of the mind. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura used to say that to control the mind one should beat it with shoes many times just after awakening and again before going to sleep. In this way, one can control the mind. This is the instruction of all Shastras. If one does not do so, one is doomed to follow the detections of the mind. Another bona fide process is to abide strictly by the orders of the spiritual master and engage in the Lord's service. Then the mind will be automatically controlled. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed Srila Rupa Goswami, Brahmanda Brahmite Guna Bhagyavan Guru. Guru Krishna Prasade Payak Bhakti Lata Page. When one receives the seed of devotional service by the mercy of the Guru and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's real life begins. If one abides by the orders of spiritual master, by the grace of Krishna, he is free from service to the mind. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the Canto, 11th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Jadabharat Instructs King Raghuvana. Revolves. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity. Yes.
Haribo, thank you so much, Vivek Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu's, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Who wants to start Siksastakam prayers?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu stand up in relation, Prabhupada. Ketu Darpanamarjanam Prabhu Mahadavagnirvapanam Shriya Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandambadi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayati Shri Krishna Sankirtanam नाम्नामुकारि बहुधानि च सर्वे शक्तिस्तत्रार्पितानि अमिता स्मरणेन कादा एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमित्रेषम् विहाजनीनानुराग्रः तृणादपि सुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानेन मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि नदनं नजनं सुन्दरीं कवितां वाजगदीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहेतुके त्वयि अयनन्दतनुजकिङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवां वदौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्थितितोले सुदृशं विचिन्तया नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गदगदहृदया गिरापुलकैर्निजितं भगवता तव नामग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्ययितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहे मे Let's go to अश्लिष्टवापादरतां पिनष्टमाम् अदृष्टां मर्मातां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातुलं पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan movement, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and, and extinguishes the fire of conditional life. This of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of benediction movement. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar. For if you are always anxious, O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of your kindness you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I am not action for them. Why should chant the holy
One,
name of the Lord in humble state of Oh Prabhu? Do you want to continue?
yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance for glories to Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna Prabhu is done with pronunciation Prabhupada.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Or we can do
Almighty
Prabhu.
Lord, yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal savior, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of breath and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet.
Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice show command? When will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda. Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and whosoever remains so unity and does me roughly or in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shri Shikshashtakam ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai,
Chai,
Shri
chai,
Panchatattva ki jai.
chai.
Bahujana Kariyadi Shravana Kirtana, Tabutana Pai Krishna Pade Premadana. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy names for many births, he will not get the love of God. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The offenses against the chanting of the holy names are as follows. First offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
Third offense, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master or to think of him as an ordinary person.
Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in precedence of the Vedic version.
Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting to Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Sixth offense, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord.
Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of those specious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as spiritual activities, karma kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
10th offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Panchakalpatarubhyascha
Panchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripasinduvacha Patitanam
Kripasinduvacha
Pavanebhyo
Patitanam
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Pavanebhyo
Namaha.
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Ananta Koitama Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai.
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 Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Gaura
Jai.
Pramanandi.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Prabhu,
much,
for association. Jai Shri
Thank you.
Prabhupada.
I was kind of busy today, Prabhus.
Fine, Prabhu. We continue tomorrow. Hari Bol.
What time, Prabhu? I see now you start early these days.
6:30.
6:30. Your time or my time?
4:30 my time.